Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. My name is Jade. So much stuff has been happening on the farm. First, my goodness, the weather. The weather is so beautiful. So today is going to be a little warm. Today is going to be, the forecast said like 92 degrees, which is probably going to feel like more like 100 because, you know, we got to get acclimated to this weather. And the past few days, it's been really beautiful in the 70s. The evenings have been nice. Yeah, the weather's just, I can't complain. And so I have been doing so many things here in the garden. I've moved the baby chicks out from the trailer and into the chicken coop, and I put them in a galvanized, like one of those horse troughs, like watering troughs. And I just fill it up with wood shavings, and I put my, the heat plate inside there, which the nights have been still in the 50s, and I do keep it on, but it is at its highest, like its highest level, which I'll show you, where you could change the plate to make it lower or higher, which I had it at an angle and in the very beginning, but I'll show you when we get there. And so yeah, I've been planting out some tomatoes, some peppers. I started a few seeds. I started my zucchini squash. I started some basil. What else? I'm gonna start some more cucumbers because my cucumbers, they just don't look that great. And I did start my seeds 2 weeks later, but the ones that I've planted in the ground do look really good. I do need to harvest all of the carrots because I noticed some of them were going to flower. They were actually starting to flower, so I did feed those ones to Bella because I heard that some of them can get kind of woody, which I noticed that. I noticed some of them that I allowed in the ground a little bit longer than I guess expected. And when I harvest them, they tasted kind of, not woody, but really, the texture of the carrot was very tough. So now I know to harvest them early, which I feel like I need to harvest a bunch of them. The spinach is doing well. Okay, so let's just get started with this garden tour. It is probably about 10 o'clock. Like 10:30, something like that, and it is so bright out here already. Now I've already been out here early this morning just to come out here and walk through the garden, and yeah, and then I just started, you know how it is, working and doing chores and stuff. So let me just start off here with this little area, my little start of a garden patch, or I guess my perennial, I don't know what you would call it. I just started gardening, so I started planting things in this garden because I figure this garden has all the irrigation. It has, water hose in here. It's protected from any chickens or animals. And I'm just learning, gardening. I'm just really new to this. And John and I purchased this landscape business in 2019. And so we're pretty new to the landscape industry. And so I figure I'm going to create this garden. I'm going to make this garden into like just an oasis, a place where I could just come and sit down and just, I don't know, just see everything grow. So let me just show you what I have going on right over here. So over here I put 3 Prairie City firegrass, and then I circled this rose bush, which is, I believe it's called Dark Night, and it's starting to bloom, and it is so stinking beautiful. Oh my goodness. So I just put these penny violas. Now what I know about penny violas is that they tend to not like the heat, but ever since we started getting this warm weather, they have been doing amazing, and so have the pansies, because I know now it's time to change out your colors into more of a heat tolerant, like zinnias, and I think cosmos can handle the heat. Obviously marigolds can handle the heat, nasturtiums, so things like that. And so right now I'm just leaving these penny violas in here because they just look so beautiful. Let me give you a close-up look as to the coloring and how these beautiful roses are looking. Look at that. Aren't those so pretty? So it has kind of a cream on the outside, and then the petals are really dark red, but oh my goodness, they are so beautiful and amazing. I don't have any aphid problems with this rose bush, and yeah, all my other rose bushes have been doing pretty well as well. Okay, so over here are some onions. So right here in the front, I have some yellow onions, and then over here in the back, which I thought were red onions, are not. They are green onions. So I need to harvest a bunch of these green onions because it is time, yeah, it's time to harvest them. So I have so many. I thought were all red onion or all green onions, so I have so many of them. But that's how everything's doing in here, and I have been using the irrigation. Everything has been working well. Yeah, I'm pleased with how everything is doing. So now, let me show you what I've been doing on the other beds. Okay, so over here on this side, this is where we have some San Marzanos that are from Johnny Selected Seeds, and they're heirloom variety. And they are doing, ever since I planted them in the ground, they have been doing so well. So now I just used some T-post, 3 T-post, and some fencing that we had, you know, just some scrap fencing. We have a ton of it. It's just to mend fencing around the farm. And right in here, in this row, I put some basil. So this whole row has basil, and then I did put some marigolds in this bed as well. So then right over here we have some sweet bell pepper. We have 3 sashimi, I think, what is that called? Sweet sashimi peppers right in here. And then these right in here, these bigger peppers, I did buy them from the from Home Depot because they were having a sale and they were only $2.50. So I couldn't pass it up. And I did not start any purple, what's this? Purple bell pepper. So I thought that would be kind of cool to see what that looks like. And then I also bought some cayenne peppers. Is that what they're called? Let me see. Yes, hot cayenne peppers, because I thought, you know what, might as well try some cayenne pepper, and it's not that hard to dry them and make your own cayenne pepper. So I thought that would be kind of cool. So I have 2 of those and then 2 of the purple bell pepper along with these other peppers. But this bed, I cannot wait to see what it's gonna look like. And so far it's doing pretty good. I did add a little bit of netting over the top to protect these seeds from the birds. And I did notice some of them are popping up along with a lot of this, what is it, crabgrass. So, oh my God, this crabgrass is just non-stop. So I'm gonna mulch the beds heavily, and then that way, hopefully that'll suppress some of the weeds, because I could see some, and you know, some of it, you don't know if it's a weed or if it's a vegetable because it looks so little. But yeah, let me show you what else is going on. Okay, over in here in this bed, last year I had some zucchini squash growing in here, and I believe, did we have some tomatoes? I think we did. I think we had some tomatoes in here. So this year what I did was I started some jade beans. Last year I started jade beans, but they did not grow very well. So this year I did a whole bed of these jade beans, and they said it did not need any kind of trellising. So we'll just see and find out if it needs trellising or not, because I've never grown them. I've tried, but haven't been successful. And then I planted some marigolds right in here and along the front. As you can see, let's see, right here, these yellow marigolds, and some orange marigolds right there on the side. And then right over here, I found these at Home Depot. I was just walking through where they have all the bricks, and I saw these little, these wiring things. I think this is for, you know, I'm not even too sure, plaster or sheetrock. I don't even know what they're for, but I thought, you know what? I could probably use this for trellising. They were $4.50 each. So I bought 3 of them, and I put my cucumbers. So these are my Katrina cucumbers. These are supposed to be a greenhouse variety, but as I was reading in the catalog, it said that it could go outside as well. So I'm not sure how well they're gonna do, but I just recently popped them into this garden bed, and I noticed that some of them, the color has been perking up and the leaves have been getting bigger. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sow some seeds, some cucumber seeds in this garden bed to see how it does. So that's what I'm gonna do for this little area right in here, and sow some of those seeds. All right, so let me show you how the carrots and the spinach, look at that. So I think it's time to harvest all of these carrots because I do not want them to get woody and I do not want them to, you know, just not be edible. So look at the spinach. Look at that. That's just looking so good. The strawberries are doing good. I'm sure I could take this netting off now that the babies are getting bigger. All the little seedlings have gotten bigger. So I'm probably going to do that today because I'm sure I could use this in some other garden beds that I just started some seeds in because I don't want the birds to eat those. Okay, so over here, look at all of this garlic. Okay, so now my understanding is that when the bottom leaves start to turn brown, which I noticed some of them are, that's when you harvest the garlic. So I'm not too sure. Last year, I only grew a handful of garlic because it was my first year of growing garlic. This is the most I have ever grown, ever. And yeah, so I really have no idea when is a good time to harvest. So what I've been doing is up the street from us, not that far, like I don't even know how many miles, but there's like a little stand and they have a ton of garlic growing in their little fruit farm. So I've been keeping an eye on that garlic, and when they harvest their garlic, I'm going to harvest my garlic because my garlic and their garlic looks exactly the same. And then I'll know. Because some of it's already drying out, and I feel like it might be time soon. And then I could start something else in these beds because I do have a ton of tomatoes still that I could probably plant once I pull these all out. Okay, so we have a ton of Jerusalem artichokes growing. Yeah, just a ton. We have some over here where I ended up having to pull up an artichoke because it was getting choked out by these little Jerusalem artichokes. So this is the Jerusalem artichoke. I have some regular artichokes right here. That's a regular artichoke and they're doing so good. And then in between I have some spinach. This is like a smorgasbord of just stuff. I have some marigolds growing in here. I started some celery that nothing's coming up yet, but my carrots, I started another row of carrots, 2 rows of carrots right over there, and I'll give you a closer view, and those are doing fantastic. I also started some turnips on the end, and those are looking well also. So let me give you a closer look. Oh yeah, and then right here in the corner, do you see that? I started some nasturtiums. So I have some nasturtiums growing there, and then right in there, and then I also have some marigolds. Did I say that? Kind of throughout the whole bed. All right, so these are the turnips, and look how good they're doing. So I feel I do need to thin those out. And then right on the other side, do you see that? Those are carrots, and I do need to thin those out as well. But everything is growing and doing so good in this bed. All right, so here's the lemongrass. It's looking really good. I did fertilize. Now I didn't use a liquid fertilizer. I used a slow release fertilizer, just some of that all-purpose granule fertilizer, and I scratched it up in here. And man, it's looking really good. So that's great. I'm really enjoying this lemongrass. I have used it all year round, winter, summer, spring. Yeah, it has not disappointed, and I feel like this is such a great plant to have in the garden. It's so useful. You can use it as teas, you can use it in food, and it has such a great flavor. So I so enjoy having this lemongrass in the garden, and it smells so good. So yeah, definitely something that if you haven't tried lemongrass and you're curious, it is so easy to grow. So try some lemongrass. You guys, look at this blackberry bush. Look how good it's doing. Look at all the flowers. Oh, I feel it's time to add some netting over here because look at all those blackberries. That is so exciting. Look at that. That's looking so good. And then over there, I don't know what I was doing over there. I'm trying to, I don't know, make the garden beautiful. Okay, so over here in this bed, I have some lettuce growing, which I can harvest that now. I have some spinach still popping up, and that's still looking really good, and I have been harvesting it. And this is the bed that I'm going to plant some tomatoes in as well. So I'm going to put some trellising up, some fencing, you know, the T-post and the whole thing. And yeah, that's what I have planned for this bed. I'm probably just going to plant some marigolds in there, and I'm going to take out the cauliflower because it's infested with aphids. But other than that, the aphids haven't been attacking the spinach, haven't been attacking anything else, because I think it's just attacking the cauliflower and the broccoli. But yeah, that's what I have planned for this bed. I haven't really amended it or anything like that. And I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to pull out the spinach. But I believe I could just plant the tomatoes with the spinach, because, you know, eventually the spinach will get tall and hover over the, the tomatoes will get tall and hover over the spinach. Let me just do this over. So over here in this bed, this is where I have some lettuce, some spinach, and some cauliflower right there at the very end, which the cauliflower does have a ton of aphids, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out. But everything else seems to be doing really good. Now I do want to plant some tomatoes in this garden bed, and I do need to do the trellising and the whole bit. So I'm debating whether or not I'm going to keep the spinach in here. Now I know I could plant spinach and tomatoes together, so I'm still debating. I might just leave the spinach in here because it's still doing so good. Look how good that's doing. Yeah, so, and I could just plant the tomatoes kind of like, you know, in between. But I do have one artichoke over there, and that was because it was getting devoured by the other Jerusalem artichokes. So I moved it into that corner right there. But that's how this bed's doing. Everything seems to be doing pretty well. I still need to amend it and get it prepped, but so far so good. All right, so I love this yard art. It's so stinking cute. It's so cute. I just love it. John did get an old chest from our neighbors. The neighbors just kind of gave it to us. And I was debating whether or not I wanted to put it in here. It is so cool looking. But it has so much intricate metal work on it. So I don't know if I want to put it in the garden. But it's pretty beat up. It looks like it's been well traveled and well loved. But let me show you what is happening right over here. Okay, so right here I have some avalanche peas that are doing so good. They're now, you know, I'm trying to get them to catch on, like this one's catching on, that one's doing it. I don't want them to get tangled up in the netting that I still have on here, because I did start a bunch, and now I'm looking and I see some basil popping up. So I did start a ton of basil in this bed, and I started, let's see, I have a bunch of peppers. So let me go through what I have growing in this garden bed. Okay, so over here we have some Hungarian hot pepper. It's already getting so warm out. And then we have some purple basil right here. And then at the very end, I have some sashimi hot peppers. Now at first, you know, I planted these peppers. I felt it was on time. But then I was looking at the forecast and I thought, holy moly, it was kind of early, because then we started having some 40-degree weather. But then shortly after, you know, the weather started warming up. So I hope they didn't get stunted. I hope nothing happened to them. They look like they're growing, so I think they just might be okay. But I did plant some red rocket. So in that second row, I have some red rocket. And then I did, in all the little gaps, I planted some basil. So I have purple basil, I have sweet basil, I have mammoth leaf basil. And then I have some basil at the very end right over there. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, and then I'm going to remove these cauliflowers because they're filled with aphids. Just filled. And nothing has been getting onto these little plants right here. So that's a good thing. I just noticed that. Oh, wait. No, I take that back. There's an aphid right there. Yeah. Okay, got it. But, yeah, so far that's good. So I'm going to definitely take out that plant. And then, yeah, I do have some peppers growing in another bed with some artichokes, but I think I'm gonna transplant them in here and put them right here where this broccoli is at. right over here. And so that way I'll have all my pepper and basil all in one little area. I think that'll look kind of neat. I can't wait. Now over here in this bed, this is where we have our celery, and the celery is doing so good. I am so glad I did not pull it out. It's just doing so good. Nothing's wrong with it. It was just slow growing. And so here in this little area, in this little lane right here, I put some cilantro. I didn't plant any cilantro last year, so I did put some cilantro, and I do want to start some dill and what else? I think that's it, cilantro and dill. So I have celery, and then here are some peppers, so let me show you. So those are those peppers that I was talking about, and these are the Baron hot peppers. So I have 3 of them, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and pop those out and put them in the other garden bed. And then here are some artichokes from Johnny Selected Seeds that are doing extremely well. And then I did tuck in some basil seeds right at the very end that I did notice some of them are popping up. Not a whole bunch, but I am getting some little, you see that? Some little seedlings right in there, like 4 little seedlings. But I just scattered the seeds over the top of the bed, so, you know, and they're so little. Okay, so over here, this is all the carrots, and this is where I found some carrots flowering. Yeah, I just pulled them out and I gave them to Bella, because the last time I ate a carrot that was flowering, like I said, it was kind of like tough, really tough and stringy. So that's how this area is doing. And then I did plant some artichokes right in there. Now, once I pull these out, I'll definitely have some more space, so maybe that's where I could put some dill. That's not a bad idea. Now, over here in this corner, look at this dahlia. So I just left the dahlia bulb in here, and this is supposed to be, what is it called? Dark Night. That's what it's called, and it's supposed to be a bright red dahlia. So I cannot wait to see how that dahlia is going to turn out. And then all my little, look at these penny violas, so stinking cute. And some of them are already self-seeding themselves, so that's awesome, because then that'll just come back next year, and I hope it spills out, and I hope there's penny violas everywhere. That would be the best weed to have, huh? So this is how the cabbage is doing right here. They're doing so well, but then I just noticed this right now. Look at that aphid damage. Oh, that's just so disgusting. Do you see that? Do you see that? Oh, okay, so that one needs to come out. You know, that has been my understanding with these brassicas, is that the aphids just love them when the warmer weather comes out. But I feel like maybe I need to start them earlier, and then hopefully I'll get some cabbage. But that's how these are turning out right now. Some of them are trying to form little heads, but then like this one just got attacked by aphids. So, bummer. So I almost forgot to show you the raspberry. Look how good it's doing. It's doing so stinking good. Now it doesn't have any flowers. It doesn't look like it has any bugs, but it's doing so good. I am so excited. I cannot wait. I hope we get some raspberries with some blackberries, and we can make some jam with some strawberries. So many possibilities. So now right over here, this is where I house all of our Christmas trees. Now these Christmas trees will stay here until the holiday, until like right around Thanksgiving, and then I take them out and I pop them into containers, and then this is where they come and rest until the holidays. Then I have this canna, and that was also in a container that got super big. I bought that in a tiny little 4-quart. Was it 4-quart or maybe a 1 gallon? It was small, and it got huge. So I don't know, I need to find a place for that one. And then this one right here, this was also in a container. I'm not too sure what it's called, but it was so beautiful and had some beautiful purple flowers, and I thought this will be cute, a little area right in here for a little garden space. And then right over here, I did have a beautiful little plant that had these purple, not purple, yellowish orange, this flower that was so pretty, but then the guys came in here and weed-eated it and took care of that. All right, so here we have our Myers lemon, and look at how good. I already have some blossoms. So I have 3 little blossoms going so far. I feel we might get some Myers lemon this year. How exciting is that? Okay, so over here in this bed, I planted some super snappy peas right here in this first little column. I did not plant anything in here. Now the super snappy peas, when I read the package, it said that it grew upright and it did not need any kind of trellising. So let's try it. I mean, I have no idea. So I don't think I've ever grown super snappy peas. So I figure, that'd be something fun to try. And then I planted some marigolds. These are just some marigolds that were left over, from the job site. Now I did not plant anything here in the center. And the reason why is because I did plant some zucchini squash here in this row. And I know that the zucchini squash is gonna get so big and it's gonna take over this whole area. So I did not wanna plant anything in the middle where it's going to, fight for water and for just space. So then over there at the very end, I did plant some Lake Valley cucumber, and the cucumbers are, actually doing pretty good. Some of them are doing good, some of them are not doing good. Let me show you. So, this big ass weed right here. I hate these crabgrass everywhere. Oh my goodness. So right here we have some of our Lake Valley cucumbers, and they just look so tiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop in some seeds, and I'm going to try to use this little mechanism that I found out in the field to trellis the cucumbers up and over the top of them. Man, these weeds are just so off the hook. My goodness. And crabgrass is horrible. It's just growing from underneath, way deep. All right, so let me show you what else is happening. All right, so over here, I have this umbrella. Oh, it's so nice. I feel like I'm just gonna have umbrellas all around here in the garden because it is so nice to have when you're working out here and it's so stinking hot, and to have the umbrella over you, man, it's awesome. Okay, so over here, this is where I grabbed some T-posts from out in the field along with this fencing. So we have a whole row of this fencing. We have short fencing, tall fencing, thin fencing, thick fencing, all different kinds. So this one right here I cut to fit these 3 T-posts. I pounded them into the garden bed, and this is where I have my tomatoes. Now last year I grew so many tomatoes in here, and I think I started over 200 something tomato seeds, which was just too many. And this year I started 105, which is still a lot. And I don't really have anywhere to put them. And when I say that out loud, it sounds kind of funny because I have so many places to put them, but really no place to put them, if that makes any sense. Because I like to have a designated spot for the area. Do you hear that? That is our neighbor's donkey. When we let out Bella and Bella goes over to the fence, he can't reach her, but he will call out for her for sure. And she's over there standing in the corner. So cute. He's so funny. Okay, so back to this little project. So back last year, I started a bunch of tomatoes, and I didn't really have any place to put them. And when I did put them in the garden beds, I didn't know what to expect. And the tomatoes got so huge. They grew so huge, taller than me. They were leaning over. We had some windstorms. They toppled over in the windstorms. I was trying to use bamboo stakes to hold them up. I tried to use some of those tomato cages to hold them up. And those are the things that we just had on hand. And so this year I thought, you know what, I really want to make sure that the tomatoes don't have that issue and they're not toppled over everywhere, and I'm able to tie them up and be really strategic about it so I don't lose any tomatoes, and that way I could just, have a good harvest and not have any waste. So that's why I did this trellising mechanism. So now in the middle, I did put a whole row of marigolds. I'm sure I could have put some other things like basil and spinach and things like that. And I probably could have put some carrots, but I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try some of these marigolds and see how that works. And then maybe in the other beds, I'll just put, you know, I'll just decorate all the beds a little differently, because I do need to do this trellising mechanism on 2 other beds. And man, this stuff is heavy. It's heavy. My little arms are just not the same as when I was younger. So I cannot wait. So let me just show you what I have planted in this area. All right. So right here in this row, I have some Cherokee purples, and they're doing so good. And these are by Lake Valley Seed Company. So let me show you how those are looking. So that's how those are looking. I planted 6 of them all the way down. And then on the other side, right over here, these are by Johnny Selected Seeds, and these are pink Berkeleys. And literally, since I've planted them, and I planted them deep, all the way, like just really deep, because they're gonna form roots. And so I just, yeah, they've actually grown. But doesn't that look so sweet and pretty with the marigolds down the center? I think that's just gonna look so lovely when these all grow up. So now this garden bed, oh yeah, and I finished all of the drip. Do you see that? So I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of drip in here. I think that's good. I don't think that's too many. So yeah, I'm so happy. Now, I did not finish the drip in this one because I ran out of some splits and things that I could use. These are like these splits right here. I ran out of those, so I need to go and purchase some more of those. And I know this one's a little high. Look at that, it's so tall. I don't know if this camera gives it any justice, but I'm sure it could lower it, but I just didn't want to deal with it. So now this garden bed, I still need to do some irrigation, get the little pipes and, you know, do all that stuff. And then over here in this garden bed, I did plant some purple potatoes and some red potatoes in this garden bed, and I did fix the drip in this one as well. So that is so stinking exciting. I'm also going to plant some butternut squash in this garden bed as well. And so I feel like, you know, I'm just going to let it trellis out. Ooh, maybe I should put a trellis in this garden bed too. You know what? I should. That might not be a bad idea, because in that way, because I know this is all going to spread out right in through here, and I still want to have access into this area. Yeah, I'm going to definitely put some kind of trellising mechanism over here. So that is what's happening in the big garden. Everything is growing, and then we have a ton of flowers still left from job sites. I guess I might have over-purchased a little bit on some flowers. So I'm just going to go ahead and plant those everywhere, just all over the garden, in the big garden and all over the garden beds. Yeah, just all over the place. In the little garden. Look at all the chickens. Oh, can you see them? They're doing so good. Hey, girls. Hey, sweeties. Hi. Oh, and the babies are, look, do you see the little babies over there? I've been letting them out, and so, but they stay really close to the, oh, see, they heard me. They stay pretty close to the chicken coop, so that way they could just run in when need be. They're so stinking cute. But here is the little garden, and I need to harvest so many green onion. My gosh, you guys. I have so many green onion. I don't even know what to do with it. And I still have to clean up so many areas. I've been touching up the paint. So last year we had our house painted. And that was a huge fiasco because John bought the wrong paint. And before we knew it, the whole house was painted with this wrong paint. And yeah, we just kind of left it because we don't have time to repaint it or pay someone to repaint it. And yeah, it's been growing on me, but there just needed to be a lot of touch-up work, and we just didn't get it done last year. It became super hot, and you know, just got busy with work. So I've been touching up the paint around the house, and then my next project is I'm going to clean this area, our catch-all area. This area, I don't know why, but everyone puts all their stuff there. Our crew puts all their stuff there. I swear they empty their pockets there. And this is where I collect all a bunch of junk. And yeah, so I need to clean that up. We need to paint the barn. So we need to get all this done before my daughter's sober grad night. That's a lot of work. I like work, and I like working under pressure. Yeah, right. So over here we have some strawberries, and look, we have some strawberries forming. Oh, I need to put a netting over this one so the birds don't get any of these strawberries. So now over here we have some oregano. Isn't that just so crazy? I just put it in one of those little cement blocks that have the hole in it. I put it in that, and then it's been growing like wild. It's so beautiful. This right here is called a hukra, and this was in a I bought in a 4-quart, and I popped it into a container, and now look how big it is. It can't even fit in any container. So I definitely need to put that in the ground in the big garden somewhere. Now over here we have some green onion, which I thought were red onions, so those are green onion, and I need to harvest that. And these are plants for a job site. Look at that, isn't that so beautiful? These are all plants for job sites. And then right here, I planted, do you see that little succulent? Let's see, it's like a lime green succulent right there. That one, it was tiny. It was a little clipping. So I cut it and I put it right there, and I thought, oh, that's gonna be so cute to put it in this little stone area, because my idea was to make the stone area kind of have a little pathway right in here. But then I decided I'm gonna take out these garden beds, this front row, and plant some flowers. But then I have some eggplant growing right there. So now I'm thinking, shoot, maybe I'm gonna have to wait to take this out. It's a bummer. Okay, so right here we have some green onions right here, green onions right there, and we have garlic growing right there, and it's looking fantastic. Not as good as the big garden, but it's really good. Now right here we have a blackberry bush that kind of just shot out a runner, because this is where I had my blackberry at one point, and then it shot out a runner, and now look, there's some little berries growing on it. Isn't that great? And then there's another hukra. So now over here we have some yellow onions, and the yellow onions are doing so good. And then we have 2 little rows of green onions, another row of yellow onions, and this one I could definitely cut off the tops and make some more of that onion top pesto, which is so delicious. If you haven't made it and you like pesto and you like onion and garlic, my gosh, that one is really good, because we use it for making scrambled omelets. We use it to marinate chicken. We use it in pastas. I mean, there's just so many uses for it, and it's so stinking good. All right, so let me show you what else is happening. So now right here we have some white onion, and this is where we cut the onion tops from. We have 2 rows of white onion, and then a mixture of green onions in the back, and some of it went to flower. So I'm gonna harvest all of that. The ones that went to flower, I might just let it go. I don't know, that's a lot of onion over there, a lot of green onion. And then same thing over here, we have a ton of green onion. Do you see that? A ton of green onion right there. So, and those are my little eggplants that survived during that cold snap that we had. I cannot even believe that it survived. So that is what is happening. Oh, it's so hot, but I need to do so much cleanup, so much work around the house. We have just been so busy with everything, you know. It's just nonstop. And then May 1st we get our lambs, so I need to get the stall ready for that. And that's pretty much it. Like, look at all this stuff. Oh my goodness. And I don't even know where it comes from. It's clean one day, and then I come out, and then John brings more stuff out. I don't even know why, but that's what's happening. All right, so that's what's happening on the farm. Goodness, so many things, but I need to get going because it's getting hot already, and I definitely need to get cleaning on some of the stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Oh yeah, and all the tulips. Oh my God. Yeah, let me finish. Wait, before I sign off, let me show you the tulips. So here are some of them, and some of them are already dying, like this one's already dying, but look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. Let me show you this one right here. Look at that. Isn't that so gorgeous against this orange? Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Now these are really pretty. It has like a red stripe, and look at the inside. It's so gorgeous. And these purple ones are so beautiful against the white, but some of them are already dying out. Look how pretty that is. I mean, it doesn't look that pretty right now, but it was gorgeous just a few days ago. And these ones are all orange. So this one did look pretty. We had so many purple, but it was so many little purple. Look at how it looks so beautiful. These little purple flowers. It was filled. And then we had a bit of a windstorm yesterday. Not windstorm, but it was a heavy wind, and it knocked them all down. But it was so pretty with the purple and the yellow. It doesn't look that pretty right now. So that is what's happening on the farm. Everything's growing. Everything's looking fantastic. I cannot wait to. Oh, I'm gonna show. I gotta show you the baby chicks. So there they are. They're so stinking cute. Hey baby, there's one of them that's so sweet. She's the one that's popped her head up right there. And then that yellow one right there, that one is so big. It's bigger than all the rest. John thinks it might be a rooster. Bummer. This is where we keep them at, right here at night. Right here. And because we still have those skunks, I put the little cage on top of it just so that way they don't get eaten by the skunks. But look at all the ladies. It's a little warm outside, so it's cooler in here. And then these girls are laying some eggs. I do need to clip the morning eggs, says now they're laying morning. I have eggs in the morning and I'll have eggs in the evening as well. Look how cute they are. So we have 11 of those babies. Hi ladies. And then I still leave the heat plate on at night only. I turn it off during the day. And I just have it on the brooder setting just because they're still underneath it and just in case, because it's still a little chilly at night. But that's how the baby chicks are doing. Okay, so that's how the baby chicks are doing. They're doing so fantastic. They're so stinking cute. So we do still have the baby skunks since the last video. You know, those baby skunks that came out from underneath the chicken coop. So what happened was, you know, they're out here by themselves. I'm sure their mom was out hunting, doing whatever they're doing. And the baby skunks came out from underneath the barn. Well, then my daughter came out and was like playing with them. Not playing with them, but petting them. Thank God they did not spray her because they were not afraid. They're so little. So I think when the mama skunk came back, I think she smelt the human smell on the babies and relocated them. So they're here. They're just not underneath the chicken coop anymore. They're somewhere else, and I do smell them. So, yeah. So now we have 4 new baby skunks walking around the farm somewhere at night. Well, that is what's happening on the farm. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Take care. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.